Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday, the 5th of April 2025. In today's Millwall news, it was match day today. Home to Portsmouth. And we won. 2-1 win. One of the weirdest games you're going to see. Very good photo there. If you look on the right hand side, above the orange coat steward, you can see Liam Roberts. So yeah, Ivanovic's double sees Mill defeat Portsmouth. Mill defeated Portsmouth 2-1 in the Sky Bet Championship at the Den on Saturday afternoon. This is the match report from millfc.co.uk. Mihailo Ivanovic's second half double secured victory for the Lions despite Andre Dazzel's equaliser sandwiched between the two. Aaron Connolly, George Saville, Ivanovic and George Honeyman all came into the line-up in SE16 with the likes of Ryan Leonard, Billy Mitchell and Macaulay Langstaff occupying spots on the bench. The Lions started fast in the SE16 sunshine and created their first chance on goal on 5 minutes as Honeyman's corner kick found the on-rushing Saville on the edge of the box, but the midfielder volleyed wide. After riding out some Portsmouth possession, the Lions then set about attacking once again with some smart work down the right hand side, leading to Honeyman's left-footed cross being cleared away on the edge of the box before Honeyman was once again involved as he floated a corner to the back post, which was nodded over by Japhet Tanganga. Joe Bryan's outstanding ball down the left-hand side looked for and found Connolly at the midway point of the half, but the wide man's cross was blocked, with Saville's effort from the edge of the box blocked as Mill continued to probe on the half-hour mark. Pompey's first moment of attack, meanwhile, came on 38 minutes as the ball landed into the path of Colby Bishop just inside the penalty area. He opted to strike it on the volley, but his shot was met with a strong stop by Lucas Jensen. Millwall then dealt a blow 3 minutes from the end of the first half as Tanganga was forced off through injury. Leonard's replacement as Tristan Crammer moved to centre-back for the first time in his Lions career. There were then a couple of chances in 5 minutes of stoppage time as the Lions looked to open the scoring, but Portsmouth's defence stood firm. With the noise inside the Den growing louder and louder at the start of the second half, the Lions took the lead just before the hour mark as Honeyman's corner was headed home by Ivanovic, the Serb rising highest inside a congested penalty area to score. Matt Ritchie's low drive was held by Jensen as the visitors looked to get back on level terms on 62 minutes, whilst Dane had to beat away Josh Murphy's cross a few minutes later. From the throw-in that followed, the attack was to end with Ritchie striking the base of the near post and, thankfully for Millwall, deflecting wide. Pompey had to poke wide at the other end with 20 minutes remaining as the Lions looked to close in on the second of the afternoon. But 10 minutes from time, despite a heroic block from Mill's defence as Murphy looked to convert from close range, the visitors got an equaliser as Dazzel's effort went through multiple legs before hitting the back of the net. However, on 87 minutes, the Lions were back in front as Billy Mitchell, on as part of a triple substitution, alongside Ajomu Maku and Langstaff, won the ball back with Casper Dinor, the Belgian, crossing the ball on a plate for Ivanovic to head home ease and Mill's second of the afternoon. Mill continued on to manage the game well following that goal, with Langstaff springing the offside track to hunt down a goal inside second half stoppage time, only for him to be thwarted by Nicholas Schmid. Referee Bentona blew for time moments later though on a battling win for the Lions. Yeah, like I said, it is a very weird game. Very weird game in that we absolutely 100% dominated the game until 2 minutes after we scored. Dominated, I would say dominated without having any clear-cut chances on goal. But possession-wise, chances created, corner kicks, free kicks, throw-ins in the opposition half, we absolutely dominated the game. And as soon as we scored, they suddenly decided and remembered, they that they know how to play football, and they decided to start trying to score. So I think don't know what they were trying to do. Whether they were trying to play for a 0-0 or what. But I mean, maybe that was plan A. But as soon as that went out the window, and you might disagree that we absolutely dominated, but because they did have a few moments in the first half, but they were partly down to kind of our own doing. I think two of them were from Tanganga himself, like misplaced passes and stuff, and not probably not clearing the ball properly. And then Portsmouth were away on the counter attack 2 times, but we did that to ourselves. It was kind of mistakes that luckily weren't punished by an awful Portsmouth team. And even their goal, it was a bit of like pinball football, in the area, people throwing their bodies on the line just to try and get a touch to get it away, and it just didn't go away. It went to one of their players who somehow managed to score despite there being 3 Millwall players in front of him and the goalkeeper, and somehow went in. But the changes got made straight away. Alex Neil's like, okay, we are going for it. Like Alex Neil's like, no, we are going for it. We're going for it. And he brought on a Maku, brought on Langstaff, brought on Billy Mitchell, and we went for it. And some fantastic stuff, especially from a Maku. He did have one moment where he was kind of looking to see the ball out for throwing and didn't quite get there. And instead of like dealing with it, just let the Portsmouth guy run away from him. Like, you can't be doing that. If it's not going out for a throw-in, you've got to do something. You've got to either keep it in or just kick it out yourself. But apart from that, I mean, even Langstaff, when he came on, some good stuff. Like I said, we were absolutely outstanding until we scored. And then, they decided to turn up and start to play. And the fact that, obviously Tanganga went off by then. And the defending was a bit chaotic. I don't know if we tried to. I think we maybe did try to defend a bit more by sitting back. But obviously, when you've got 2 up front, you can't really do that unless one of them drops back or drops out wide. But when we play with 2 target men type, you can't really do that. Yeah, there you go. So, let's have a look at the team. This is the squad, the team and the squad. The team was Jensen, Kramer, Tanganga, Cooper, Bryan, Saville, Denor, Honeyman, Ivanovic, Conley and Coburn. The substitutes were Wallace, Mitchell, Wintle, Langstaff, Leonard, Emaku, Cundall, George Evans, the under-21 goalkeeper, and Wes Harding. The subs that got made were Leonard on for Tanganga in the 42nd minute, Mitchell on for Saville in the 81st minute, Emaku on for Conley in the 81st minute, and Langstaff on for Coburn in the 81st minute. So, there you go. What was the crowd? Healthy crowd of 16,913, and bizarrely exactly 2,000 Portsmouth fans. Yeah, obviously nice sunny day today. Good day to watch a game of football. Good day to watch anything really. So now we got this. This is also from millsc.co.uk. It's the photographs, pictures, selfies, as the Gen Zs call them, even though they don't really know what that means, from the game. Bosh. What's that there? Okay, that's a sock. I thought he had a bandage on his knee. There's a sock. Yet again, as well, the ref, the things that he was giving up, because we had so many set pieces, because we were dominating. We had a lot of time in set pieces in the area, our players in the box to get on the end of set pieces, which how we scored one of the goals from a corner. But the amount of times the ref was blowing up for like stupid fouls from, like, especially on Cooper, when you see the replays, like, what was that? There was nothing there. There was literally nothing there. Did not make any sense at all. You can see them there. So you can see the players above the dugout. They're kind of blurry because obviously it's not in focus. But you've got Negley, Hutchinson, Danny Kelly, AJ Matthews, Liam Roberts. So there you go. There was one moment as well. We actually had a decent corner routine where George Honeyman kind of floated it in, but it looked like it was floating into the back post, but it kind of swerved outwards to outside the penalty area where George Saville was, and he hit it on the volley, and it just went to the left of the left post. So yeah, there you go. How about that? That was the second goal. Kramer checking for offside. No, it wasn't offside. It was all good. It was all good. There you go. Fantastic stuff. And Maku as well. Yep. Back round to the beginning. So there you go. So what does that do? It does a lot. It does a hell of a lot. Because these are the results from this weekend's round of matches in the Championship. On Friday, Blackburn 0, Middlesbrough 2. Early kickoff. Now, I don't know if the players were aware of these results from the early kickoffs, but West Brom 0, Sunderland 1, Coventry 1, Burnley 2, Luton 1, Leeds 1. So those early kickoffs, the two teams that were in the playoff places that we're chasing, the 5th and 6th places, they both lost. That's what we need. We need them to drop points. So I don't know if the players knew about that, and that kind of G'd them up, knowing that if they got the win in today's game, that would have helped them out. They helped them gain ground. But yeah, Millwall 2, Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1, Sheffield United 0. Yes, Gary Rowett. Obviously, we are playing Sheffield United, although we're playing them away. We're not playing them at home. I wonder if Gary Rowett's got any advice on how to beat Sheffield United. First time they've lost in quite a while. Now, this was a touch. Plymouth 2, Norwich 1. The Norwich were 1-0 up. Plymouth come back and scored 2 goals and ended up winning the game. How about that? Preston 1, Stoke 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Hull 1. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Cardiff 0. Swansea 1, Derby 0. Bristol City 2, Watford 1. So those are the results from today's games in the Championship. And what that does is, we jump up. What's that? 4 places to 9th. We go from 13th to 9th. And if you go over to the colours on the other side, all of the teams around us, they lost. Apart from the couple, and the couple that did win, they jump up into 5th and 6th, and they replace Coventry and West Brom. And then Middlesbrough won today, Bristol City won today, Coventry lost, West Brom lost, Watford lost, Norwich lost, Blackburn lost on Friday, Sheffield Wednesday lost, and Preston drew. So there you go. How about that? 54 points. So 6 games to go now. Which is 18 points. So we're not technically safe from relegation yet, but still. Won't be long, but we are still 6 points off. Now we have to do a thing that seems impossible in this league, and that's win the next game. And that is, it's very hard when you've won one game to win two games, because very few teams are currently on 2-game winning streak in this league. There's Burnley, who are now top of the table, and looking at the stats, you'd probably think that they probably deserve to be top of the table. They've only lost 2 games all season. They've only conceded 12 goals all season in 40 games. That is an insane return. So why shouldn't they be champions? I mean, and it's pretty tight up there now, isn't it? 82, 83 and 84. Could it be Leeds in the playoff? Could it be Leeds finishing 3rd? Millwall finishing 6th? Millwall Leeds in the playoffs? Playing them 5 times in a season. They won't know what to hit them. Playing them 5 times in a season. 2 times in the league. Once in the cup. And then again in the playoffs at the end of the season. Wow. But, that's a long way off. Because at the moment, like I said, the only teams currently that have won 2 games in a row are Burnley, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. And that's it. Only 3 teams in the league are on a 2-game winning streak. So we now have to go, realistically, there is a 3-point gap between us and West Brom. Obviously, a lot of these teams are really struggling at the moment. Blackburn, Norwich have only won 1 in 6. Watford have only won 1 in 6. We've won 3 in 6. So you would think a draw in the next game, especially against Sheffield United, wouldn't be that bad of a result, to be fair. Always Sheffield United, a team in second place, a draw against them would be a pretty good result. But, there's 6 games left. We kind of need the points if we're going to get up here. So, we wait to see. It's a short turnaround. It's Tuesday. So we see how we get on. But so far so good, So far so good. Yeah. Not bad. To go from 13th to 9th, to jump over all these teams that lost today. And Coventry and West Brom lost, and they're out. Bristol City and Middlesbrough won, so they're in, and that's what you need to do. You need to win games in this league, which is easier said than done. Now, I should say, next Saturday, who we got? We got Middlesbrough. We've got Middlesbrough. So if we were to, by some miracle, to beat Sheffield United and get up to 57 points, depending on what Middlesbrough do in their midweek game, let's say they lose it, maybe they won't, maybe they will. But if we win at Sheffield United and we're on 57 points, and then we beat Middlesbrough, and it could be, this time next week, we could be in the playoffs. So while we're here, let's look at these midweek games. Who have Middlesbrough got, by the way? Middlesbrough have got Leeds. So that's not going to be an easy game. So again, not out of the realms of possibility for me to say that by this time next week, we could be in the playoff places. If we look at some of the other teams, Bristol City versus West Brom, Norwich versus Sunderland. And on the Wednesday, Coventry versus Portsmouth. Well, I think, if Portsmouth play the way they did today, they're going to get steamrolled by Coventry. You can't try and defend, and then suddenly you defend for your lives, and then all of a sudden you concede a goal, and then you decide to play football. That's not going to work. So there you go. Now, I'm going to bring you this. This is from EFL.com. It's the key dates page. Now, they put this out a couple of days ago, but this is not while I'm bringing this page up. They got the dates for next season. We'll talk about them. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end of the video, or maybe tomorrow. Not that. This. So if we do get to the playoff semi-finals, they've already been decided. They're on the 8th and 9th of May, and the 12th and 13th of May. Now, the days on those dates are Thursday and Friday, and Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, that's going to be great, isn't it? Especially if we've got to go up to Middlesbrough, or we've got to go up to Leeds. Fantastic, 2 midweek games. Brilliant stuff there. But I thought I'd just let you know, maybe don't book anything, if your kid's got parents' evening or something, maybe try and wangle a way out of that. The playoff final, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that's the date there, Saturday the 24th of May. If it's Uncle Joe's wedding, sorry Uncle Joe, you gotta go. So yeah, that's the playoffs. Now, moving on to this from the South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. The lowdown on Mill 2, Portsmouth 1. Ivanovic the star man, as Lions secure late victory at the Den. Yes, yet again, a late goal by Ivanovic. He does have a knack of scoring match-winning goals, doesn't he? Does he not? So yeah, Mihailo Ivanovic shone with a brace as Millwall secured all 3 points over Portsmouth thanks to an 87-minute winner in a 2-1 win over Portsmouth at the Den. Here is Mitchell Hall's lowdown on the match. The lineups. Snapshot of the game. Millwall took the game to their opponents in the early stages as they dominated possession and kept Portsmouth pending their own half. Lions could not capitalise on the pressure and their dominance soon faded into a dull rhythm. The fans livened up as Matt Ritchie and Joe Bryan exchanged words after the former left the foot in on the Millwall fullback. It was probably not a coincidence when Bryan was skived down soon after by Terry Devlin, who received a yellow card. The biggest moment on the half came when Japhet Tanganga dropped to his knees near his box, requiring treatment that would see him subbed off with his arm in a sling just before half time. Yeah, we'll get into that later. Mill started the second half as strongly as the first. They broke through in the 57th minute as George Honeyman's corner was glanced towards goal by Mihailo Ivanovic and into the far bottom corner. Portsmouth came firing back immediately, however, leading to the chaos in the Mill box as they failed to clear after blocking shot after shot. Yeah, pinball football, I told you about that. The visitors reaped the rewards as a low shot from Andre Dazelle somehow squeezed under the keeper, through 2 sets of legs and into the goal for the equaliser. The atmosphere was souring in the ground as a loose ball came to Casper Denor on the right wing, with the Belgium lifting his head up and curling a perfect delivery into the danger zone. Welcome to the danger zone, where it was met emphatically by Ivanovic for his second of the game. Bosh. Tactical approach. Alex Neil named 3 changes from the side that lost to Sunderland last Saturday. The back line remained unchanged, with the biggest changes coming in Mill's injury-stricken attacking department. Ivanovic replaced Emaku, with Aaron Connolly shifting to the left wing to allow the serve to form a front 2 with Josh Coburn. Billy Mitchell dropped to the bench in favour of George Saville, and Honeyman replaced Luke Hundle on the right side of midfield. Mill set up in a 4-4-2 shape up, with Connolly and Honeyman making for unconventional wide men in the system. There was an increased responsibility on Tristan Cranmer and Bryan to get forward in wide areas. Honeyman especially drifted into more central areas in possession, with Cranmer taking up the space he left behind. Tanganga's early withdrawal meant that Ryan Lander was introduced at right back, with Cranmer moving into central defence. Star man. Ivanovic's got to be in it. His heroics made this as an easy decision. His prowess in the air is a huge part of his game, and he really showed it off today, placing 2 very different but equally impressive headers away. His partnership with Coburn was excellent throughout the game as he chased down his partner's flick-ons and made sure he was always available for a cross. When those crosses came in, he used them to change the game, exactly what Alex Neil would have hoped for from his target man. Moan of the match. While the home crowd's boos and rather sarcastic cheers towards the referees, every decision was blown out of proportion, The fans were writing that his use of the whistle was overzealous. Half contacts were given as fouls, and even the standard jostling while waiting for corners to be delivered was heavily marshalled by the referee. I told you that as well. It never came off as biased as some fans may have felt. What it did to me, but it was frustrating in a game that was already struggling to find its tempo. What it did, because we had about 21 corners and they had like 2. So if he kept doing it every corner, obviously it disproportionately affected us because we had more corners. Talking point down the pub. Tanganga's withdrawal was a crushing blow to Mill's hopes of reeling in the playoff front runners. The centre-back has been one of the best across the division this campaign in his position. If he is facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines, it is sure to cost the club points. He's just the latest in a slew of recent injuries that Neil had to contend with, but few have been as irreplaceable as Tanganga has in the art of defence. Yeah, you could see that in kind of the way we were defending that led to that goal, the pinball defending. Although I would say, obviously the in-game changes that are unplanned, it's not expected. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, and when they turn up, you kind of have to deal with what's turned up. What I would say is the first 3 games of the season when Tanganga was suspended, we had a very different defence than we do now. I believe we were playing with Wallace and Hutchinson. Maybe just Hutchinson. But we have a Crammer now. So we've got a Crammer. Leonard's back. If Leonard wasn't fit, that would probably be a problem. Although, Wes Harding will probably play, so maybe not that much. So we'll see. We'll see how Crammer can step up to it. If he can deal with it. And we'll see what he can do. Hopefully it's not going to be as bad as it was in the first 3 games of the season. But we'll see about that. What the boss had to say. Oh, we deserved to win the game. If they left with anything, that would have not been that would not have been fair reflection of the match. We were really dominant in the first half without getting the goal they probably deserved. And, they had one chance, but in the main, 3/4 of the game was played in their half. When we scored more than we deserved to be in the lead at that point, and all in all, it was really pleasing. Exactly, and that's what I said. So yeah, now, here we go. So a bit of controversy. We've got they yoinked it. We now have the Southwark News doing their own talking points piece, which they've nicked from the South London Press. There's nothing new under the sun. But original ideas are hard to come by. So we'll see how they do. But now it says Will Scott up there, but then it says Fergus Sowry down here. I don't know if this is our nom de plume, because doesn't want Richard Cooley getting in his face about stealing ideas, but I don't know. So let's read the talking points from the Southern News now. Mill snatched a vital 3 points by beating Portsmouth 2-1 today via Milo Ivanovic brace, with a Serbian striker scoring a divisive goal in the 87th minute. Here are the main talking points from the match. I hope they just stole the idea and just copied them wholesale. Tanganga injury. Despite a good victory, the main talking point for the Lions will undoubtedly be the injury, which meant centre half Japhet Tanganga had to be substituted towards the end of the first half. Tanganga went down on the 40-minute mark and walked off the pitch with his right hand in a sling. Well, it was in his shirt. I don't think we can afford slings. And Alex Neil, I never understood. Do you have a first aid kit at work where you work? They always got a fucking sling in there. Like, what's that for? I know what it's for. It's like if you break your arm, but I mean, no one's ever using that. No one's ever using that. I don't know why they got it in there. Just put some more bandages in there. Stuff like that. I don't know. And they never have saline solution. You have a special eye wash thing. I don't know why they just can't put saline solution in it, because that would be more useful than a sling. That don't make no sense to me. And Alex Neil revealed after the game he may have cracked a bone in his hand. The central defender was replaced by Ryan Laird, who came on at right back, moving Tristan Cranmer into the middle to partner Jake Cooper in defence. Tanganga has been an ever-present in Millwall's starting 11 this season, running goalkeeper Lucas Jensen, playing more minutes than Tanganga. Millwall have only conceded 40 goals this season, the 6th in the Championship, with only sides within the playoff places conceding less. It will be interesting to see if Millwall can sustain their impressive defensive record if the fan favourite is sidelined for an extended period of time. Set pieces. Set pieces are also proved vital in a game in which Ivanovic, who struggled to impose himself on the game in the opening 45 minutes, scored from an in-swinging corner from George Honeyman just over 10 minutes into the second half. Honeyman, back in the starting lineup following the Lions' loss to Sunderland, provided a creative spark for the home team from set plays. In the opening moments of the game, he showcased the versatility he can provide from corners, as he found Casper de North unmarked on the edge of the penalty area, who fired a volley just past the post, one of a few half chances to come from the first half. I think he's got confused with maybe. I don't know if he's got him confused with Saville, that chance that I told you about, or whether Casper had one as well. Because we had so many corners. Yeah, look, it says here. Millwall totaled 11 corners throughout the 90 minutes, and as they continued to apply pressure from set pieces, the Portsmouth defence eventually became unstuck in the 57th minute following Ivanovic's header. The Lions' winner came from a set piece. Pompey cleared a corner. Billy Mitchell won his duel with Harvey Byrne, found Casper de North, who floated the ball in. Ivanovic crashed into the corner of the net. One thing I will say regarding the referee blowing up at all the corners, maybe that actually helped us really scoring that goal. Because, I mean, if you're a Portsmouth player and you think, well, I'm defending this corner, but, you know, the referee's blown up in every single corner that we've had so far. So, you know, he's probably going to blow up at this one as well. And then when he doesn't blow up, you're like, oh, we've got to actually defend it. So maybe that did help us, you know, in some kind of weird way. The high press. Another talking point before the game was both sides' similar direct approach with a focus on winning the ball high up the pitch. Before the game, Millwall had recorded the second highest tally in the Championship for tackles won in their own attacking third, totalling 100, with Portsmouth trailing just behind on 99. However, the press, which was characterised John Messini's side, was limited as Pompey struggled to box in the Lions, who looked to venture up the pitch via long balls. Millwall, on the other hand, were far more successful in implementing their press, forcing a number of high turnovers and generally controlling the match aside from a poor spell leading up to Portsmouth equaliser. Yeah, we were utterly dominant in that game until we scored and they decided to start to play football. And then we brought on more attacking players, and then that was kind of, you know, we started pressing even more. The two strikers, as the lineups for the game were revealed, what stood out for many was the presence of both Ivanovic and Josh Coburn up top. Whilst Ivanovic's goals were undoubtedly still the headlines, his strike partner Josh Coburn was the focal point of the Lions' press in the 80 minutes he was on the pitch before being substituted for Macaulay Langstaff, hunting down Portsmouth goalkeeper Schmid on a number of occasions. Coburn also linked up with George Honeyman in the first half on the right, but the Lions couldn't quite summon the final ball in order to breach the Pompey backline. The prospect of a partnership between the two young strikers has given Millwall fans something to be excited about for the future, as their understanding should only grow in further games to come. A frantic finish. Throughout the game, both sides struggled to string a series of passes together, allowing them to apply a serious spell of pressure onto their opponents. However, following a triple change made by Messinio in response to going a goal down, Portsmouth made the Millwall defence work, eventually culminating in their scrappy equaliser. After a scramble in the box, substitute Christian Sadie drove a low cross across goal, which found Josh Murphy, whose attempt to shoot was blocked until Andre Dizelle poked it home past the three Millwall defenders huddled around the 6-yard box. It looked as though the game was to end 1-1, but a late winner for the second successive league game at home for Ivanovic secured all 3 points for the Lions. Exactly, you know, that sums up how the game went, really, doesn't it? Yeah. So there you go. Both papers are doing the talking points now. Interesting. Now we got to some post-match comments. Southwarknews.co.uk. Alex Neil pinpoints the biggest change in the game during Mill's 2-1 win against Portsmouth. Alex Neil thought Josh Coburn and Mihajlo Ivanovic's improved second half performance was the decisive factor in Millwall leaving the Den with a 2-1 win against Portsmouth earlier today. The Lions struggled. The Lions controlled the first half, but struggled to create clear-cut chances and only really threatened at set pieces. Millwall were far improved in the second half and took the lead in the 57th minute after Ivanovic headed home George Honeyman's cross. Pompey responded well and equalised in the 80th minute via Andre Dazzel's strike. Yeah, we know all this. Neil made a triple substitution immediately after conceding the goal, and 7 minutes later, the Lions took the lead again when Ivanovic scored a thumping header from Casper North's floated cross. Neil thought Mill deserved all 3 points. I thought we deserved to win the game. If they left with anything, I don't think that had been a fair reflection of the match. First half, I thought we were really dominant without getting the goal we probably deserved. And they had one chance, the boys put the ball in, Joe tries to clear it. It lands to the striker and he strikes it, and Lucas makes a good save. But I thought in the main, 3/4 of the game it was played in their half of the pitch, I thought we pinned them in. There were a lot of balls in the box and we weren't aggressive enough, and we didn't get across the front of people enough, and just little bits we needed to improve on. The basis of the half-time team talk was really around the two forwards in terms of, I thought if they upped it a little bit, we would win the game, and I thought both of them were excellent in the second half. That was the biggest change in the game for us. I thought the two of them were a handful in terms of leaning in, bumping things, flicking the early runs down the side, and when we scored, we more than deserved to be in a lead at that point. I think my biggest frustration is when we scored, I thought for the next 10 minutes we got 10 yards too deep. I thought the press at the top end of the pitch become a little bit loose. They played through a couple of times at that point, and we lost a couple of duels in and around about the edge of the box, and things skidding off the top of our heads and loose clearances that weren't happening before in the game. And then I thought when they scored, it woke us up, and I thought from that point when we came back into it, we were much more aggressive, much more assertive in the match, and from there we scored another goal. We could have scored more, the subs that came on, they had a good impact in the game as well. So all in all, it was really pleasing. When asked how he thought Josh Coburn did, Neil said, I thought he was very good, particularly in the second half. Although Mihajlo will get the headlines, because of the goals, I thought the front two were main reasons in the second half why we carried the threat we did. I thought they bumped things, they flicked things on, they played together, they interlinked a little bit. And bearing in mind, these two lads have only played together twice. Normally, forming partnerships at any club, it takes a length of time to get there. And the two of them are young players as well, Josh Coburn, he's not particularly old either, he's 22. And he's also missed half the season, so to come in and have a really good impact for us, I'm really pleased with his performance. Absolutely. Agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. But interesting, so what he says is, so it wasn't a plan to sit back, it's just the players reacted like that. I think, obviously we've got all these players that have been here for a number of years, under Gary Rowett, under Neil Harris. It's like, oh yeah, once we score, we start to defend. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You still have to do a bit of attacking. We're not doing that anymore. That's not what we're doing anymore. But it's so ingrained in them that's how we play, that it's just automatic. It wasn't he didn't tell them to do that; they just did it themselves. Don't do that. We got this from southernnews.co.uk as well. Mill head coach explains why he opted for a different approach against Portsmouth. Alex Neil explained why he decided to set Mill up in a more direct manner during their 2-0 win against Portsmouth today, pointing to the Lions' lack of creativity against Sunderland the week before and Pompey's ability to counter-press. Yeah, I think we had 5 shots and 2 shots on target last week. Not good enough. Neil started a physical front two of Mihajlo Ivanovic and Josh Coburn on to play more vertically, with 20.7% of Mill's passes being long balls. The Lions had less of the ball than Pompey, 48.8% possession. No, really? That's surprising. I guess because they were playing out from the back, so they would have bumped it up a bit. But man, it felt like we actually dominated that. Be interesting to see how it was compared to the first half and the second half, because obviously they came more into it after we scored. So I imagine in the first half it was probably 60-40 probably to us. And a low passing accuracy of 62.8%, but were more dangerous going forward, having 14 shots to Portsmouth 6. Mill looked particularly dangerous at set pieces. They got the breakthrough after Ivanovic headed home George Honeyman's corner before the Serbian striker scored a late win after another corner was recycled from Denor, floated a ball into the box. Yeah, we know about that. Neil was pleased that his switch worked. Oh, it was a bit of a different approach from us today, Neil said. Obviously, a lot of times we've been playing a lot of nice football and a lot of nice patterns, and I was really frustrated at Sunderland and the fact, although, I thought we had a good control in the game, we didn't create enough chances, we didn't put enough crosses into the box, we didn't ask enough questions of them, and that was something I wanted to change today. Also, the fact that, Portsmouth are aggressive at getting the ball back. I think along next to us, they're probably one of the best teams at getting the ball back in your half. So what we didn't want to do was unnecessarily risk the ball and let them jump on top of us and turn the ball against us. And that's why I put 2 up top, and that's why we turned the ball a lot more direct today. And I thought it worked, and that's why we won the game. Again, lovely little lines from Alex Neil about what he did and why it's so great. That's why I put 2 up top. And that's why we turned the ball a lot more direct today. And that's why we won the game. Love it. Subtle brag. The best teams in this league win games in a variety of ways. And I thought we won the game today in a very different way than we've won a lot of the games since I've been here, which is really pleasing. And again with the lines. Again with a subtle brag. Very different way than what we've won a lot of games since I've been here. As in, we won a lot of games since I've been here. Remember. Wow. I love him. I love it. Now, the elephant in the room. It's not that heavy. No, I'm joking. The injury. I think he's out for the season, personally. If he does come back, he'll be in one of the brace. He'll be in like a cast or something, and he's got to watch out because the way he plays, if he swings that around, he's getting a red card and he's going to be out for the season anyway. I'm sure he'll want to cast on and he'll want to jump straight into Tuesday's game. But I mean, bro, you got to take a rest. You've played more games than you played in a long time. Maybe your body's starting to tell you to calm down, to chill out. Just go and relax. Go and do something. Go to the beach. It's a sunny day, Go and have a little holiday in Canberra Sands, something like that. And come back in a few weeks. And we see how you're doing. So yeah, Millwall boss Alex Neil has spoken about the injury which saw star defender Japhet Tanganga withdrawn just 43 minutes into their 2-1 victory over Portsmouth at the Den. And this is from London News Online, the South London Press. The former Tottenham centre-back suddenly dropped to his knees just minutes before the half-time whistle. The centre-back seemed to be in some discomfort with his arm, eventually trudging off the pitch in a sling. Again, it wasn't a sling. They made him lift his shirt up as a sling. To replace Ryan Leather, Tristan Crammer slotted into central defensive role he was originally signed for, but has rarely played in under Neil. And Neil said, it looks at the moment as if he might have cracked a bone in his wrist, so we'll get it x-rayed and we'll see the extent of it, and we'll have to deal with it as best as we can. It's hard to say just how long he'll be out for. Mill did not seem to be impeded by the substitution as he took hold of the game soon after beginning the second half for a 57-minute Ivanovic header. And then we get the quote that I've just read about dropping 10 yards deep, Yeah. So, Tanganga. So what it looked like, they were manipulating his fingers. So initially it looked like maybe he dislocated a finger or something like that, which I think it can be quite painful. I haven't had it happen to me, but I understand it can be quite painful. especially the process of realigning it. And I think sometimes you need to tape two fingers together to stop it happening again. But looking back, obviously now that they thought it was a wrist injury, obviously your finger bones go down your fingers, go through your wrist, through your metacarpals, and they go straight through your wrist and up your forearm, and it's all connected. So I think maybe they were lifting the fingers up and down to try and tell which things in the wrist were, if something in the wrist was broken and which one of the bones it is, because there are a number of bones, like 3 or 4 or 5 different bones in the wrist. They're all very tiny, which probably doesn't help in terms of maybe it does help in terms of them healing up. But yeah, so they're saying it's a broken wrist. They did put some kind of bandaging on his arm, which probably why a lot of people thought it was a sling when he came off. But he was just holding his arm, and then the guy, they told him, "I'll just support, lift the bottom of your shirt up and put your arm in that like a sling." And they made him do that. So, like I said, don't be rushing back. Obviously, I'm sure he would want to play. He's a warrior, he's a fighter. He wants to get stuck in. He wants to do something, especially if we're not that far off the playoffs, and we are very realistically in the playoff battle right now after today's win. But just rest and relax. Go and rest and relax. And then we'll see how it is. Like I said, it's a lot different to the start of the season when we had Hutch and we had Wallace, and now we got Crammer. Joe Bryan's playing like a amazing. He's playing brilliantly. Ryan Leonard's back and he's looking pretty good too. So we'll see how we go with him, and if you do come back, before the end of the season, we'll see how you go. Now moving on to this last one, we're going to finish this. Again from londonnewsonline.co.uk in the South London Press, who are on TikTok, by the way. Do you got TikTok? Do you have TikTok, David? Yeah, here we go. This is the goal. People will start talking about him. Millwall boss on Mihajlo Ivanovic's unbelievable first season in the Championship. Millwall boss Alex Neil was full of praise for 20-year-old striker Mihajlo Ivanovic as his goals at the Den secured all 3 points in a 2-1 win over Portsmouth. Yeah, we know all about that. We're going to skip all of this. The goals brought the young Serb's Championship tally to 8. In his debut campaign, 8. And do you remember a couple of weeks ago, I said one of the when it looked like when was it? The defeat to Leeds? When it looked like, the roller coaster, the playoffs are out of it. I said for the rest of the season, one of the things I wanted to see was one of the strikers get into double figures. Now we've got, Ivanovic on 8. He's 2 goals away from double figures, and we still got 6 games to play. So it would be very nice to see him reach that, to get to 10. Having signed with the club while a teenager in August. Ivanovic was brilliant, Neil said. Any 20-year-old that leads the line in the Championship and they'll get double figures before the end of the season. To do that is an unbelievable season. It will not surprise me if people start talking about him. There was something I read the other day about the top 10 young talents from Europe, and he was one of them. There are very, very few strikers at that age who can lead the line at this level at 22 years of age and score goals. He deserves all the plaudits. I think he's getting. I don't know if they get people mixed up there. He's 20. Ivanovic is 20. Coburn's 22. Neil was also keen to highlight the impact of the partnership that Ivanovic struck up with fellow striker Josh Coburn on the day, starting alongside each other in the front two. Although Mahalo will get the headlines for these goals, the front two were the main reason why we coloured the flick we did in the second half, said the Scot. They bump things, they flick things on, they played together and they interlinked a little bit. Bear in mind they've only played together twice, so normally if you're forming partnerships at any club, it takes a length of time to get there, and the two of them are young players as well. Coburn has come in, he's had a really good impact for us, and I'm really pleased with his performance as well. So there you go. Man management, even though one of your strikers scored 2 goals, you praise both of them, even if he did play well. So there you go. I mean, that's it. We are still very much in the playoff places. We are in the playoff hunt. It's real. Now, obviously, we could lose on Tuesday to Sheffield United, and the results could go against us, and it could go away again, and we could drop down to 13th. It could go like that. We just have to hope and wait and see. But it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Oh yeah, while we're here. So next season, although I don't know why I'm showing you this, if we get promoted, like, this ain't going to be anything to do with us. What's this about? So the fixture release day is Thursday the 26th of June 2025 at 9 a.m. The Championship starts on the 9th and 10th of August, but Sky Bet League 1 and League 2 start on the 2nd and 3rd of August. What's that about? The Carabao Cup final is on 22nd of March 2026, although we will never get to that in my lifetime. We've not even got close since it started in the 60s. Final games of the season are on the weekend of 2nd and 3rd of May 2026. Next season's playoff final is on the 23rd of May 2026. And there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.